D&D characters in Cyberpunk. Whole concept.
You want to be a samurai elf that also owns the bike from Akira? Go ahead, like just do that.
I mean, you're selling this pretty well. I would play it.
Hit Tony.
Say hello, Tony. Internet.
Hello,
Internet.
I couldn't let this pornography go unshared with the universe because I'm living for it. Living for it.
Tony and I haven't been in the same room for a long ass time, so I gotta hit a spot any way I can.
Hopeful glances just don't work the same on a screen.
Oh, I think we made someone blush too hard. If it makes you feel any better, I didn't go find a picture of Vikings gently touching each other for today's post.
Nice.
That was kind of what I was leaning towards.
Right. Yeah, we understand the subtext.
I have to participate in an unsightly situation.
Oh.
We had BLTs for dinner, so, there's bacon in our teeth. I'm not going to let you guys watch that.
That's round 2.
I was running a game.
Don't kink shame me.
That's right.
Well, you can do whatever you want in your spare time, but you're not going to watch me do it.
You got to subscribe to a higher tier for that. I was running a game last night, and I hadn't turned on my camera yet because I was eating. And someone was like, hello? I'm like, I'm here. You can listen to what I'm doing to these fried zucchini, but I'm not going to let you watch. And they were like, what are you doing to the zucchini? I'm like, oh, if you can't tell from the noises, then you probably couldn't know.
Nice.
Good times.
Stage outside, so In the Dark of the Night is playing in the background distantly.
Perfect.
I'm already thinking of what my cyberpunk character would be.
Well, there you go. The seeds are planted.
And it is,
Can I be Cyberpunk Rasputin?
Yeah?
I mean, yeah.
You're going to have a little Bartok familiar?
It'll be like growing out of the side of my neck.
That was a lot of knowing nods.
Follow your happiness. I don't know if it was knowing. I was accepting.
Mm-hmm.
Trying not to yuck her young.
Sure, blame the tumor. What the heck? We're easy targets.
Exactly.
She can play Bartok.
No, you still have to play Bartok. You do it better than me.
Not on purpose.
Not on purpose.
Lisa, did you ever let slip my vampire idea?
No, because I want to do it too much.
Oh, we're live.
No. I want to know. What is
No,
it?
that's
I want to
fine.
know also.
Go ahead.
I may be playing in a Vampire Masquerade game with Glenn, and I wanted to do a Toreador, and I was trying to think of actual characters from, life who might inspire me, and then I realized that I need to play Frasier as a Toreador.
Yes.
There it is.
Yes.
Oh
my God!
Yes.
It's beautiful!
Oh, yes.
It's like, I want to be so bad. I told her, I'll be Niles.
Yeah.
I was going to say you need a Niles
yeah.
if you're going to be.
And maybe Niles is the ghoul, or maybe it's the other way around, but no one tells anyone. Just something funky like that.
They just let you assume what you will, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that would be. There's potential there. It's strong.
Strong. Fucking circle. I'll watch that show for 4 seasons.
I want recaps.
For 11 more seasons? Yes.
At the very least, I want recaps.
I doubt we're still getting our Frasier reboot.
Yeah.
Haven't heard anything about it in a year.
Yeah.
Well, there was also COVID, though.
Yeah.
That's why we're not.
Oh no,
Yeah.
that doesn't seem to be stopping some people.
not.
There's a couple of shows that I'm like, when did they record this?
Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
things that are
Okay.
basically recording by just having the entire cast just like live together in a
Ooh.
common slash like town that is isolated from everywhere else.
That way they could hug each other.
Yes.
Very.
There was a piece of jelly in my tea that wasn't supposed to be there.
Oh, bad surprise jelly.
It was the wrong jelly.
It was the wrong jelly.
If my grandma was still around, she would tell you you're prepping for winter, and that's something that you can get behind.
Hey, Rabbit,
Yeah.
you know how you posted that meme about Shanty fandom dying?
Yeah.
It kills me.
JC linked me a TikTok where it's some dude who works in an old folks home who started singing shanties, and then all the old Navy retirees started singing along, and I was like, oh, yes!
Aw.
What the hell, JC? Why didn't I get that?
Oh, okay, well,
You don't love me?
I mean, she did put a ring on it,
Shit.
so...
I
you
heard
know,
the love in that.
well,
Whatever.
just big degrees. You know,
I
just-
make cinnamon rolls from scratch.
and pancakes that I'm missing out on weekly.
Be an essential worker.
Yeah. I pancakes are essential to me, so I don't know why I'm not also involved. I'm losing my thread.
Oh,
Anyway,
what the fuck?
oh
Hello, Internet.
yeah, we
Yeah, hello again, Internet.
I'm actually looking at the book and realizing that I've been like denying myself bonuses this entire
yeah.
time.
Don't do that, dude. Roll them up.
Because I have
Yeah.
the fencer advantage, which means that I get bonus die when I fight with a sword.
Yep.
And I
Yeah,
haven't
I
been
don't
doing that.
What
Uh-oh.
goes on in here?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh
I haven't been counting Jenya's boxer because she hasn't fought bare knuckled yet.
yeah. I have a lot
She
of
always fights
aim,
with her knives.
or I have aim,
It's
or I
a
have
good time to
plus 1 aim,
start.
and I'm like, the chucking is not as entertaining as the so it's supposed to make. Oh, you
That's
found
right.
it?
No.
Be as ridiculous as you would like to be. He met a Zorro.
Yeah. I mean, she literally is supposed to kind of look like Catherine Zeta-Jones from Zorro. So.
He got there.
He did.
Good for him.
I mean, the
She's
way
terrifying.
I built Jenya, she's essentially a bar druid, a barbarian druid. So I'm like, yeah,
Fine. Cheese.
I'll take it.
Cheese. Just a tiny amount of cheese.
Drudarian? Drudarian?
You understand
I'll
who you
take
got.
Drudarian.
Yes.
A Barbruid?
I will not have a funeral as much
Barbara?
as I will be lowered in a vat of hot cheese, like at the end of Terminator 2.
I
And then my
mean,
final act will be given a thumbs up.
somebody's like into
Is that a
that
Baz?
somewhere.
Right?
So is this one.
All right, Lisa, check your TikTok.
You mean my line messenger?
Yes, your line messenger TikTok.
Thank you. I will watch it later in the comfort of my bed.
Okay. Trying to find the one.
I
I'm
didn't
gonna
think it was that exciting.
post one about Canadians Discord.
Don will watch it in the comfort of his pile of maple leaves he uses as
Correct. At the bottom of my igloo.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm getting those things like just stuck in my underwear all the time.
I was like, doesn't that get crunchy,
Wait.
Sally? I mean,
That was
Way
the life
too
you
many,
chose.
like leaf fragments in my
You married a
undies.
man of a certain heritage. These were choices you made.
At the bottom of my igloo was legit how when I used to work for as a tour guide, that's how we would respond to French tourists when they would ask to see like Indian encampments and shit, and like all of that good stuff was like, yeah, let me go get my dog sled, and we will be there. We will be there shortly. So there was a list of them posted in our tour guide office.
Nice.
Okay, it's in the general Discord if you want to watch how Canadians feel about wintertime.
Oh boy. I mean, I can watch it right now. We're live.
I was gonna say.
There's
As they
John.
do.
Go ahead.
We have a Canadian who's live.
I mean, I don't know if you can share
It is 10 o'clock for Amanda, though.
Yeah, John.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
You mean
And we
11
have a
o'clock?
prison break.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
To-
daylight savings time.
That's right. So yes, last we saw this ridiculous crew, there was a raid organized under the cover of fog,
Erg.
which was very stealthy up to this point. May have been the longest
Mouth.
unbroken moment of stealth in this entire game.
Just quiet
'Cause,
violence. All it was.
Yeah, just quiet violence. You know, there was a bomb
Violence?
soundtrack that we can't play because we'll get claimed, but just imagine, believe me, it was there.
Saw quiet violence open for Cradle of Filth. Real good.
Where'd my pen go? Did you steal it?
I stole nothing.
But yeah, we
Did you choose?
we stand at the door to the courtyard where we all realize that now is the time to murder everyone.
Yeah, I mean,
Basically.
it's same plan, but the quiet part can now be dropped, as there is
Immigrant song started playing.
basically. Liberal use of slow motion. There was a portly man who sort of cried to get your attention, and that did not. It did nothing.
As directed by John Woo and written by the Wachowski twins.
Correct. Mix it all in. So yeah, now there is a group of people with hostile intent. There's also folks in that courtyard that very much look like they don't want to be here.
Yeah,
and
because they're slaves or both.
likely they don't look like willing labor. So
I literally have a line in my notes that says we need to kill them all and save the prisoners. So
that's
yeah.
right. And the fact that you've expressed your intent to bring violence to this group has made the prisoners' tower sort of erupt in yells and cries for help, and a few extra kick their asses from way far back.
My notes say that I'm targeting a fat dude.
Yeah, that's the man.
And Jenya bound everybody to the ground with vines.
That's right.
That's what I'm gonna do.
Which is going to be your opening. It's going to be your opening move.
That was the first time I used it not to make daisy chains, guys.
You notice.
You could still make daisy chains, just daisy chains that are grabbing these assholes.
before
Daisy
we
shackles.
go into approaches, you notice that somebody is running towards what looks like to be a bell, very likely to call the folks who are at the front of the camp.
So sad.
But
One died.
yeah, that gentleman's run ends with him taking what looks like to be like an unwilling leap up front, and then he face plants into the dirt about 6 feet away from that bell.
Fergus.
There's a very prominent arrow planted in the back of his neck. Which
Hey, Venus here.
Oh yeah.
basically above the gate that you've so thoughtfully cleared stands Evine, accompanied by a few folks from your sister ship, all carrying weapons, and you notice a tall, bald, very muscular lady, clearly crescent, just like carrying what looks like two like wicked knives, and she leans over the railing and notices the state of a few of the people that are in that yard, and there is a string of crescent coming out of her mouth that doesn't sound good for any of the sailors now in the yard. She looks like there's flames shooting out of her nostrils.
Ooh.
Don't steal my thing.
Oh no, it's not actual fire. She's just that pissed.
Get him.
But yeah, you at the sound of that, you see that it sort of animates the group of people on there. It carries the volume of a "oh hell nah," although you don't understand the language. For most of you, Evine, you do understand that language, and it's basically what you would imagine. There's a long string of profanity, as well as threats
Oh, hell
to
no.
murder them, to hunt down any of their descendants, and inflict the same fate upon them.
Sounds good.
So yeah, Evine, you're now
Yay.
overseeing this courtyard where there's a bunch of dirty pirates. There's people again who seem like they don't want to be there, and you're basically, the courtyard is between you and the tower where you know all the prisoners are because you still hold the registry.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, not at all. Players are here and chaos is about to ensue. Feel free to go with your approaches. I already have Zhenya's. So how careful are you being with that?
I mean, I obviously just want to like grab the pirates.
Right. So you're making an effort to
So-
be only these people.
Yeah.
So well, that will be a resolve roll, which I know it's a good one for you, but you're basically trying to impose your will on the gift. And you know what? Roll warfare with it.
That's also a good one.
Nice.
Woohoo!
Plant tactics.
Yeah, right.
And tactics.
All right. I got a 5 in that, so 10s explode, and I got a 4 in that, so 15's equal 2, so that...
This is the show your work version of what it's like to do.
15, 9...
You already have your target. What are you trying to do with the portly
Well, it
gentleman?
depends on how close I am. I mean, I think at the moment I just want to get in a position to stabinate. So
Okay,
probably
well-
more stealthy.
Yeah, you'll have to stealth across because you have the full courtyard between you and him.
That's fine. I mean, if I can somehow make creative use of my pole tesses, then to get people out of my way as I'm doing it, then I win.
Okay. That was a 6. Jenya? Okay.
Yep.
All right. What are your
Jimena-
approaches?
Yeah, so Jimena, if I remember correctly from last time,
You're doing smoke
She-
bombs.
yeah, I threw a smoke bomb out and then made for the tower.
Yep,
In
that's
the-
correct.
Yeah,
Um,
so that is where I'm not Jenya, you're Jenya. Jimena is going. She's
hashtag
going
you're
to-
Jenya.
I should have been Yesenia. I should have been
Yeah.
Yesenia
Wish.
so that we could just do the whole end of the alphabet.
You know what? Here's a fun thing. For having done this kind of thing before, you're pretty sure you can get that lock with your sword.
Yeah.
You've done it in the past. So
Stab it in the heart.
if you do me like a finesse weaponry.
I also have 4 dots in theft. So
Solid. Well,
Walk
whichever is highest, I will let you apply.
Ooh, we get to see. Oh, there goes rabbit
There
ceiling.
What am I rolling?
You're gonna stealth it, right? Finesse and hide.
Oh, really? Dang it. Oh, here it is. Okay.
Oh,
Unless
that's
you
much
want to
better.
propose me something else.
One.
Don't know if I have anything that would work. No,
You have a fairly decent hide.
it's fine.
All right.
I got 7.
Look at this roll. Sheesh.
Oh, yeah, there we go. 7 for Jimena.
Yes. Oh wait, no. It's 8. I forgot
Nice.
a die.
Nicely done. Okay. Rethold and Evine.
Okay.
I think I'll shoot something.
You're in perfect position to do so.
I got 7.
I mean, I'm holding them all still. Pick them off.
Yep. I'll shoot one of the held still ones.
All
Or
right.
2, if I can angle it to go through 2.
Oh, you can attempt it.
Yeah.
It will not be the first
I
time.
mean, you're Evine.
Yeah.
You can do the thing in Robin Hood where he shoots one arrow and then he shoots it with a second arrow to change his trajectory.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, I already rolled since I knew what it would be, and I have 9 raises.
Nice.
Jesus,
Well,
woman.
there you go.
One of my dice hit the KitchenAid and turned into a 10. So happy with that.
Nice.
It knows.
The KitchenAid
The
does give
spirit
an
of
auto
your
success.
kitchen know you.
Nice.
KitchenAid does give an auto raise.
I'm really excited because we were gonna get a KitchenAid and because we're moving and we have more counter space in our new apartment. And then today my mom texted me and was like, "Do you guys need anything for your new place for Christmas?" And I was like, "Yes, you can get us a KitchenAid." And she was like, "Okay." So now we don't have to buy it.
Yay!
Yeah, right.
That's it. That's the end.
Rethold is going to
Cool story.
hold with Magnus for our volley of gunners to fire, and then charge in. And yeah, just axes flailing, anything that I can hit, and if I get hit, awesome.
Yeah.
Right.
You're
All
like
the
the
better.
biggest in our group. Hit me. So I can hit you harder.
That's right. Let me hurt you better.
Help me help you hurt more.
All right, so let's go with you can roll an attack roll for your approach.
Brawn plus weaponry.
Yeah, unless you're going for a shock and awe intimidation
No,
with this.
no, there none. If we're gonna take out this entire place, it's gonna be fine.
We're essentially just going to burn it down to the ground. I mean,
Oh, no.
we
I
can't
think-
leave it standing.
I think this would make an excellent forward base of operations. It's
I'm
got
gonna find that Dizzy Mendez flag.
it's got a secret entry path at the back. There's a dock, a defensible position. Like,
Yep.
this is glorious.
Are we giving it to our Sarmatian or our Crescent buddies?
Hell yeah. Well, our Sarmatian buddies under the auspice of the glorious incorporation of our lady.
No, they're Crescent. On the sister ship is Crescent, right?
Yeah, but
Yep.
under our Ifrit patron, this could be another port that she can use.
I was like, I killed the Sarmatians that were on the boat.
Right.
Yeah, well, most of them were also crescents.
Yeah.
They just had that weird winged dude.
Yep, who was also crescent.
Yeah.
They have pacts with basically the opposite kind of beings as the Sarmatians.
Bastards all.
Yeah.
They're all bad.
These are kind of angels. Oh no.
You okay?
Don't do it.
Yeah.
We're all looking at you.
Somehow that makes it harder. Like,
That's 7, Tony.
There was a tiny, tiny sliver of ice that
Oh
was
yeah.
still in here. So I was trying to get the rest of the boba, and the ice shot back to the back, like hit the back of my throat.
No.
And I wasn't expecting it.
Fucking hate that.
yeah, me too.
I would also be
No one
surprised
expects the Ice Shard
if
Inquisition.
I was expecting one thing to hit the back of my throat and it was a different thing. That would also surprise me.
Yes.
You can talk to John about that later.
Hey, we've all been through college.
For those of you who are watching this who may be in college, just you wait. That joke will hit sooner or later.
Sometimes
back of your
people skip to
throat.
college. Ah.
All right. So, Evine, you're angling for the two furs, and it almost looks, for a bit, you almost grin at the way sometimes life's all right. It just make things happen for you. And the first guy you're aiming basically moves to try to cover his buddy, and you're like, oh yeah, look at the line.
Thank you,
And,
universe.
Yeah, it's almost
You're always listening.
funny in the way that they feel probably more secure in that moment, and that thought amuses you as you let loose. And basically pierce both of them, and your arrows just like thunks into the ground after having hit both men. They fall on top of each other, almost in an embrace.
Oh.
If they were
Did
not,
they die in each other's arms?
well, I mean, if they were not,
I-
disgusting human traffickers,
Just
that there
died.
would always be something sweet about it.
In your arms
It
tonight.
must have been something they said.
Yep.
We got there.
Yep.
And then Evine turns and walks away.
In very broken old Thean, you get a comment of appreciation from one of the Crescents loading a firearm on the wall. He is basically like, two. You hit two. Good. Great. And then he sort of gives you like a thumbs up, like what I'm trying to say did not convey how awesome that moment was, but you see it from the thumb and sort of the exaggerated wink. The thought sort of comes across.
Nice.
She does like a theatrical bow.
With a flurry.
Since you speak every language known to anybody, you hear that in Crescent, he's basically telling his brethren that now they got their work cut out for them. As somebody sort of walks behind the line of folks arming rifles, and they basically say, "Whatever you do, do not hit the prisoners. I don't care if you take a second more to aim. Do not hit any of these people. That is paramount." The lady, the muscular lady, is not watching any of this because she vaulted over the wall and has now jumped down below into the fray.
Right into the mosh pit.
Pretty much. She landed on a dude and did not stop. It made a crack, and she continued without a care whether he lived or died. He's whimpering, but she's already moved on. Jimena, covered by your smoke bomb and the chaos that is now erupting, you're making a crazy beeline for the tower. You can actually see from above, like, there's like arms sticking out of the windows, like they're about like this wide, but you see like arms sort of popping out, like almost like slapping the tower. Like you see like huddled faces, sort of trying to see what's happening. There's some hooting and hollering. There's some crying in there, like people in various states. You almost do like a fencing lunge with your sword as you arrive in range and basically break the brittle lock straight through. You stick your sword like just the point into the door,
Just the tip.
and as you pull it back, the lock basically slides down your sword very gracefully and into your hand. That door is now pretty much wide open for you to... Well, it's unlocked. It's not quite open yet, but you hear a shout of protest from across you as somebody reaches out for a weapon and wants to make an attempt at preventing you from going where you are going. So you'll be in a position to address that at your next approach. But for now, the tower is open. You actually notice that some of the crescents have watched you go. The ones that are carrying like basically smaller weapons, and in groups of two, they sort of hop down to sort of follow behind you and provide you some support. Retold, you're basically getting into the thick of it at this point, which with Zhenya's action, she sort of doesn't go forward, which you would have expected of Zhenya at this point. Usually it's a run for the meaty targets. But it becomes clear after that when the underbrush gets upset, and whatever plants are in this encampment, whatever pieces of grass are now erupting with vines, which grab a bunch of folks all at once, further sowing chaos. The portly dude on the other side of the courtyard, you can't really hear what he's saying over the din of everything, but he sort of looks around as if, basically like, what? It's just like a, what? It's pure chaos, meaning you basically ram into it and you just start taking fools down. Magnus is right on your heels, and you're basically cutting through pirates. A couple of times you come across like some prisoners, which both you and Magnus, almost in rehearsed unison, you grab one by the chain and you pass it on, and Magnus just like swings them, not necessarily gently, but carefully, outside
Put
of the
those over
fray.
there and those over there.
Yeah. The ones that look like they can take it, like there's at least one younger dude who sort of tumbles, ass over head as he gets pushed out, but he's out of danger. He'll be fine, right? He just rolls into the
He's young, he'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yep. And there is panic starting as many of them now realize they are rooted in place, and there's two crazy men from the north coming down the town, and they cannot run. So this is not how they thought that day would go.
And it's just axes and screaming and hair and shouting.
Yep.
And that's just the two of us.
Yes. The guns basically go, and a couple of times you get the first shots that basically hit a few folks and sort of give you your first your basically your go, and then you hear one more salvo coming through, which, to your satisfaction, Rithold, is accompanied by another line of rifles from the top wall. So looks like it's slowly falling in sync. Marilena vanishes into the chaos. She ducks under one vine and rolls around a dude and then is lost in sort of the fog. Marilena, you approach that portly dude who somehow managed to avoid getting his leg wrapped by a vine, but is now tangling with it because that vine won't quit and is just continuing to pursue him. It's slithering across the floor like a snake. And
Awesome.
he's sort of trying to poke at it while looking back and while trying to keep an eye on this courtyard because everything is rapidly going to shit.
So
When
he
do you
does
know?
not see me.
No,
Lovely.
he does not.
Is there anybody else that I need to worry about in his vicinity?
There's a taller dude that looks like he's making his best attempt to try to guard the portly man, but
He doesn't see me either.
he's also contending with
Alright.
Flora, so he's not doing as good of a job as he could be. But if you're getting on that murder train, he should probably be next because you can assume you're about to kill his boss. So he's probably not going to take it well.
Probably not.
All right. Genia, you feel a sense of contentment as the plants reclaim part of this courtyard. The vegetation doesn't seem happy in this place. the best you can gather is the earth is sad.
Well,
It's a
we're
mood.
gonna nourish the earth with these bodies who will give themselves
Oh,
the
absolutely.
betterment of Matushka and suck them back down into the earth.
It's going to be very
And
nitride-rich
she'll
soil when we
say
get
that.
done with it.
To your left, Zhenya, you notice that there's a makeshift barricade already in place. Ricardo and your sister are working like a little rifle line, and
Aw.
you notice that the rifle line up top is sort of looking down at them. So Ricardo is sort of shouting his commands just a little bit louder, and you can surmise that that older person standing behind the rifleman up top is repeating things in crescent to the other folks. So looks like they sort of stumbled upon some sort of synchronicity there.
Nice.
But yeah, they're working as a good pair, the two of them, right? Like they basically prepared a couple pistols, and when the rifle is unloaded, Veronica gathers it, and there's sort of a system happening there.
Well, God damn you. Sorry. She chose to be in war, so now she has to figure it out. And now she gets to see the very ruthless side of her sister.
Yep.
That might come as a shock to her. So yeah.
It is coming.
But yeah, so Zhenya's gonna stand up and like pull the vines up with her hands and tell them, "You dirty souls will now feed Matushka with your blood and suck them under the ground." And then go join the battle, because it's time to go fight some things with her hands, because she did her job.
You wizarded enough.
Yeah, I wizarded enough.
All right. Well, so that would be your usual.
The resolve or the brawn.
Brawn. You're brawn because you're about to go crack some skulls now. Yeah.
Yes, sir. All
Okay.
right, so I also have my legendary trait for brawn and my specialist in brawl. So
Yep. Before you go for your next approach, for all of you, a detachment actually comes at the other gate. There are probably some of the folks that were posted up front that are hearing the commotion. The problem for them is that they're at the gate and they're sort of bottlenecked right now. The gate is not fully open, so they basically have to file through the guard door. Nobody is opening the grate on the other side.
easy
So,
pickings.
riflemen
Like
are coming in and taking shots randomly into the fray. So I will tell you if any of you are in the line of fire.
Woohoo! That works for me and Ruffle.
Well, I mean, as luck would have it, Retold, you're first. You got shot. You got one dramatic wound.
Woohoo! Yay, Ruffle!
Hell yeah.
It's like Christmas.
Oh,
We
right.
all get what we want.
Jimena,
Yes, hurt him.
you also got shot.
No.
And Ricardo also gets hit by a stray bullet.
Oh no.
But Ricardo does not flinch. He lets go of the rifle and pulls the pistol. He hands the rifle over to Veronica, who for a second looks like, oh no, my brother-in-law. And he basically just continues to yell commands, so the rifle 9 stays in cadence. and tells Veronica, "Don't stop. You follow the cadence." And he ducks behind the barricade, pistol in his lap, and he starts to wrap his arm up, and he continues to shout. And he basically, like, Veronica is like, "Oh, okay." Like, she puts the rifle over the wall, and he's
This
like,
ain't
"Just
his first rodeo.
follow my voice, follow my lead. You keep at it." And then
Does Jenya see who shot him?
they're the folks that were in the little gate area. Yeah, you can see them.
Oh well, they're all going down now.
They don't know what they're.
Where did Jimena get shot? Just like
In your nose. It's sorted now.
You caught it in your teeth.
Through the heart, and you're to blame. You gave love a bad name.
That's right. In your left leg, Jimena.
Okay. Jimena is going to take a second to basically hit her sword, like the hilt of her sword, against the little striker that she has. And then she's just going to take her sword and she's going to basically heat it up and then smack it into her leg to cauterize the...
There you go.
Nice.
Yeah, the bullet.
I'll worry about getting the bullet out later, but for now...
That's right.
Ain't got time to bleed.
Think about.
That's right.
But you stare at them while doing it.
You basically do that in one fell swoop. The person who has now drawn a sword on you looks very uncertain about his choice, and you hear a voice, and you smell the telltale cigarillo smoke next to you as Ernesto is there with his sword drawn and the fucking cigarillo in the other hand, and he looks at the same man and basically says, like, "Oh no, it's too late to question your life choices. Done. You're here now."
She's already seen you. Once she sees you,
I didn't
over.
teach her that either.
And he basically says, like, I have trained her. She may be better than me now. So,
But I would never say it to her face.
He basically, like, leans back and takes a drag. And he's like, "You're fucked, buddy."
Man,
when he says that, Jimena stops and's like, "Oh, you're so nice. Thank you. Appreciate it."
I don't know what you're talking about. And he just like walks.
As he does that and just goes back, like, he puts the cigarillo in his mouth and, like, just engages a couple other people. Like, he just, like, fights them.
Meanwhile, interrogating them about the local bird life.
That's right.
Got some ibises out here or something?
I noticed a red-breasted something, bro. That, you know.
Right.
breasted boobry.
You hear this?
Woo.
All right. Approaches for next round, next turn.
I'm cursing the heck out of this guy. But I'm gonna do the whole, like, you see me do this before. It was the last time I killed a dude.
That's right.
I'm gonna do the kiss right there.
Oh yeah.
And then stab.
Let's go with a finesse weaponry.
So I can resolve this. I really want this guy to die. No, honest truth is, like, yeah, I just really feel like he needs to die.
I will let you use resolve. You tap into your inner resources, and this man is despicable to begin with.
Basically, I want my blade to exact the justice that I believe he deserves.
Very good. And your feelings sort of well up as you summon that, because the prisoners here have clearly not been well treated, and a part of your mind drifts towards your husband in captivity, and that awakens something. It is very clear to you now how much this man needs to die.
Okay, so
Jimena is gonna turn to that guy, and so she's not gonna light her sword on fire, but she's just gonna get it heated up enough to where it starts glowing, and she's gonna be like, "Look, I want to go in this tower. You can stop me, you can try and stop me, or you can walk away right now. But you got 2 seconds to make that decision. So go now." And if he hesitates too long, then she's just going to stab him with her red-hot poker sword.
Okay. Feel free to roll me a normal attack, or if you want to panache, intimidate this, you can also do that.
Yeah.
Him and his lightsaber.
Get a bonus
Brethel
die?
is going to axe in one body, axe in another body,
Also,
and drop them.
Versus 3.
They'll be in whatever body, and whatever prisoners nearby. I'm just like, use the weapons if you will. Make sure they get back to me, and just then roll into the next person, because we're having a party now.
Yep. Oh yeah. No, it very much is a party. Magnus is practically vibrating with glee.
Oh my goodness.
You hear almost like a yeah.
Crap.
You got 5?
Yeah.
Amanda? Okay. You got 10, right?
Yes, I got 10, and I have placed a curse on him, which is -3 to whatever.
Yep. Cool. Jenya, you have nice. Is that a 9? I see.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna pop a hero point for strength of 10 and one for riot breaker, and I'm gonna go bust up the bitches who shot my boy.
Right.
How dare you shoot my husband?
Yeah, basically. I haven't even had to use him yet, and you're already shooting him.
There you go.
But yeah, so as I said, Jenya's going to say her little repent for the earth you damaged and suck whatever's left in her vines into the earth, and then fucking rage kill all these people trying to come in. One of them shot her, Ricardo. They're all going down.
Absolutely. So you're going for it.
Mm-hmm.
Evine.
It's me. I'm wondering if is she in a good position to add cover fire to these assholes who shot the beloved group uncle?
Absolutely. So you're on the wall right now, and you're not exactly in position to do it, but you basically look at at where you are and where you need to be, and it's like you're playing an Assassin's Creed game. Like you can see where all the footholds are.
Yep.
And you're basically like, okay, here, drop on that little
I think she
roof,
is.
jump over here, grab the rope, and then basically you would be on the opposite parapet, right close to the prisoner tower, basically overlooking the front of the camp where likely there's more soldiers coming down. So if you position yourself there, not only will you be able to provide cover fire for Virginia, you're probably going to have a clear shot of anybody else trying to come up in order to help support the camp.
Yay. I'll do that.
So if you want to go that route, I'll ask you to roll me a finesse athletics, unless you want to sell me something else.
I think that's a good one.
Which will basically allow you to gymnast around. Yep, you're just gonna parkour.
Okay. I had to actually look at my character sheet.
Yeah, she thinks that what you have is treats or something.
Oh, I let too many of them hit the KitchenAid this time. I got crap.
Oh,
It's okay. I can reroll some of them.
The KitchenAid will not always work. The KitchenAid giveth, and the KitchenAid taketh away.
no.
KitchenAid did give me a lot of sevens, though.
Thinking about it.
Nope.
Up on his shoulder.
Nope.
Go do it. What?
Stop it.
Go do it.
Nope.
Do it.
Fine.
She's
Fine.
bothering me.
Well, get used to it.
Jump on your shoulder.
No, she does. She's fine. Oh, goodness.
See?
Yeah, no, you're the
jump on
one.
your
No,
shoulder.
no. You're the one doing things.
I got 5.
5? Okay. Fantastic. Rethel, how many successes do you get for this?
So, I'm using panache plus aim to throw these axes into a couple different bodies.
Yep.
And then looking back at whatever prisoner we've just liberated and be like, you can use those, but I want them back later. I got 11 raises.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Nice. Those 2-digit raises.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yep.
exploding tens. Oh.
No. This plays out exactly as you hoped it would. And not only does it, you drop a couple people, you make your speech, and you make eye contact with a couple of the prisoners. Like, a lot of them look just terrified. One, yeah, their captors are getting butchered. They're still not 100% sure whether they can trust you guys. They've seen some shit, but the moment you make eye contact with a couple of them, it awakens something. You get a look that you can only surmise as like, that's the look that Jose gave me when I turned him.
Oh no, how many more Jose's are we gonna go home with?
Yeah,
There's room in Rethel's heart for all Jose's.
there's a man and a woman there, and they look like they've been starved. They're not in good shape. They're covered in bruises, but when the bodies land next to them, it is their salvation. They grab weapons and they fall in lockstep.
Guys, we're going to rename this Fort Jose. Fort San Jose.
That's right. and you descend into the fray, taking down more fools with you. You hear just cracked roars behind you. One, they probably haven't had a chance to roar like that in a long time, and they're probably very parched, but doesn't matter. It comes out like it comes, and they start to join the fray, accompanied by Magnus, who's just like, people are yelling, we're yelling now, like we're joining this.
Here, people yelling over here. Can I yell over here too? Come on.
I like we've been yelling.
Yep. It's like, yep, I'm accompanying this. Like he's just roaring behind it. Like he's loving every second of it. More folks are looking at the weapons on the floor. They haven't made the leap yet.
Ooh, sorry.
But they're towing the line at this moment. And you actually see the prisoner's looks like turn towards the portly dude who's basically desperately trying to retain order. And as he steps back, there's a form close to him. And then the only way I can describe this is that his throat explodes in a shower of blood.
Hell yeah.
Spectacular fashion. Like, basically, it almost looks like this was orchestrated to give the biggest impact, right? Like, he just takes a step back and...
Scene from Addams Family where the kids are dueling.
Basically, blood shoots out of his neck. It's all over his subordinate, who's clearly his guard.
Mm-hmm.
He's just covered in his boss's blood right now, and even though he looks like he's trained, the look on his face just betrays a what the hell just happened moment. This guy, Marilyn, almost walked backwards into your hold. Like he walks towards you and you almost cradle him for a second as you deliver your curse. It's almost like a shh moment.
A little bit, yeah.
And all of it sort of comes out at once. Like you lift your knife and you draw it across his throat, and it's basically like you feel it. You rip that fucker open, and his throat just like explodes. He has no wind left to say anything. He gurgles and falls to his knees like this is a fucking, theater tragedy. He's spraying blood everywhere. Like his eyes are just like open wide, and he plummets face first into the dirt. Where there's still vines sort of around him.
Probably should have saved some raises now, but well, you know what? Screw it.
Well, it has the effect of getting 3 more people who were unsure about joining the effort. That display gets them to go pick more of the weapons that Rethel has held on as offered them on the ground, and 3 more people sort of join in. They're just like, this is it now. That asshole just died spectacularly. Peggy super died.
That's what I was hoping for.
You get a whispered, "Who are you?" from the tall dude who's now covered in blood from head to toe on one side of his body. His weapon is drawn, and he's clearly wanting to engage you, and at the same time, you can tell from his features that he's struggling to comprehend what is currently happening.
I'm not even sure I'd say anything. I think I just look him right in the eye and hold that until I enact again.
Perfect. That will have its effect. Genya, you barrel through with one last glance at your fiance, who's makeshift patched his arm and hasn't lost a beat. He's directing that rifle line. He sort of looks in your direction, almost in
shit! You saw.
almost in a reassuring way, but he catches you as you're running away, and there's like a, well, I guess
There she goes.
I guess that's that. I got a job to do, and he sort of focuses more as you basically come barreling through. You pass Jimena on the way.
Yep.
Jimena, she passes
Not
right
gone.
behind you as this dude is sort of looking towards you, like, should I engage or
As she does that, Jimena kind of makes a like
yeah.
further evidence. Like, read the room,
yeah.
bruh.
Right.
Jenny goes full fucking Wolverine right now and just
Basically, you jump
knives in hand.
into that rifle line. One of them does manage to get a shot in, so you will get a shot, but you take all three of them down. Just crash through the gap in the door. You leap on the first one, and basically, like, you have both knees planted on his shoulders, and as you descend, you basically stab the other two.
Yeah.
Basically, like, in the neck as you're coming down. You're now in the gate, and you have the three of them underneath you, and your knees just basically like pull in on that dude's head, and you hear a crack.
And
yeah.
then I angrily whisper, "You shot the wrong Castilian."
Yeah, one of them has a knife sticking out of his neck, and he looks like he's about to say something, but all he says is like, "Look," and there's a little shot of blood that comes out of his mouth. That's all you're gonna get out of him. As the three of them died, you clearly see from the other side of the door that there's more people sort of coming up. More riflemen are sort of coming. But again, nobody has opened the gate for them. So there's only one way into the fort right now, and you're standing in it with three dudes underneath you.
Looking fucking feral. Do I get a hero point for taking a wound because I'm a soldier?
Yeah, of course you do.
I gotta get these fuckers back. I've been using hero points left and right, guys.
Yep. Keep track of what should give you your hero points back. On that note, Evine, you basically swashbuckler your way across this camp. You leap to a rooftop. You cut a rope, which allows you to glide very gracefully to a small little tower.
A rope that's not attached to anything visible above. Like,
you make like a little somersault leap, hang onto the tower for just a second, the prisoner's tower. You see like a very confused face in one of the tiny windows as you hang there for like just a second and then just angle and jump on the next parapet. You land on top of the wall just as you see the three men die below. And Genya basically like murdering fools. You see the same things that Genya sees, which is basically the front of the camp, which clearly has the more robust defenses. Like there's many more sort of gunner nests along the way, and you see like the actual dock, and you see riflemen sort of coming up, trying to come and assist the fort, because now is getting loud as fuck in there, bell or no bell. So now you're in a position to provide top cover to Zhenya
Yay.
as you see that line of people coming up. Jimena, you've successfully frozen this man. He no longer wants to approach you.
How
He
does that
doesn't want to go to the gate. He doesn't want to go back because there's pissed men of the north up there. Plus, some of the prisoners are starting to hack into bodies.
Yes.
I thought you were going to say you're just pissed because maybe.
Well, I mean, at this point it could be because the sword is still drawn. Like he's still like in sort of fighting position, but as his eyes sort of dart around, it's sort of like he very clearly realizes that his choice is like how do I want to die, which is not a choice he seems ready to make right this second. So he's just there, like in place, not really doing anything. But if you make a move towards the tower, he does not move to stop you.
Wow. Completely demoralized that guy.
Just shove him.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Get him down those stairs.
She does not. She like just cracks him on the skull with her sword.
Yeah, I mean, you crack him, and he passes out. And
Even if he doesn't, he goes,
"Oh."
Oh.
Yeah, the look he gives you before he passes out is almost a look of relief. Like, you could swear that for a second he almost looks thankful for taking the choice away from him. But yeah, he goes down like a fucking sack of potatoes. From behind you, you hear the clang of steel on steel, and you hear Ernesto's voice saying, You go up the tower. I'll fight these rubes out here."
And Jimena gives a nod. If the sworn anime, she goes, and then she runs to the door and just throws it open and runs inside.
It is very dramatic. As you kick this door open, the sunlight basically filters through. There's about an inch of dust everywhere, right? It is gross. It is filthy. It smells terrible in this tower. But you kick the door and you hear like yelps from up the tower, like in all of the cells.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like sounds of surprise. There's basically cries for help. There's the door is flung open, and you're met with a tall, muscular, shirtless man with a knife drawn.
Oh, it's cute.
Basically, just like looking like, oh, what the hell?
What?
Right? You can now see outside, and he sees your silhouette in the door.
Sword's still glowing, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Backlit.
You ever read The Hobbit, bitch?
Yeah,
It's a lightsaber. I mean,
it's hot as
I
hell.
feel like Kylo Ren.
This guy's covered in sweat, right, like from head to toe. He also has a very prominent set of keys tied to his belt.
Not for much longer.
Right? He looks like he wants to say something sassy, but nothing comes out. You know, like when you're trying to come up with a comeback and you're just like, I don't got it right now. I cannot muster it. And instead of fucking saying it and stumble all over my line, I'm gonna keep my fucking mouth shut. So that is what he does. All right. And we are good. Yep.
How many points of pain does my taking a bullet give me?
It's one. It's one dramatic.
Okay.
Because it's a firearm.
Yeah. Boop. Woohoo!
Okay. And thus begins the next turn. Zhenya, you could tell that normally there would have been another salvo, but you sort of killed the top of the rifle line, so there will be more coming next turn because it looks like those people are giving up trying to get all the way up the hill before they're gonna shoot. Like you see a few of them already crouching down. I was like, I ain't going up there. So yeah.
I'm gonna go polar bear and polar bear strength of 10 riot breaker. Let's fucking go.
Nice.
All right.
Knock them all down.
You know what to roll. You know what to
Yep.
do.
It's
We
my
go.
favorite. It's my favorite.
Can we see out that gate down to the main dock?
I want to read this guy.
I was like, if
Is
Zhenya
everybody-
can look down the gate, she doesn't really care. She's just gonna fucking charge it anyway.
I know.
Yeah.
They'll
Yeah,
see
the-
interpretation to
Okay.
change things, maybe.
The gate proper is not open, so there's basically like a large gate and there's a grate
Sure.
down it. So the door is shut, the grate is down, and there's like a little side door, which is where Zhenya is.
So I can't really make out how many people are down there.
Not from where you're standing, no.
Okay.
Although if you look in this direction, you can actually, to your surprise, you can actually see Evie posted atop the gate.
I was actually
looking down.
thinking of asking her. So it sounds like the courtyard is just about under control.
It's very much getting there.
And then, so yeah, I would yell up at Evine to be like, I want this over quickly. You think Zhenya needs a hand? I mean, I know she doesn't need one, but to make it, to expedite things.
I already have 2 of those.
Well, Evine,
I was-
she's not gonna go through this whole line of people in one go. She'll take down a lot, but there's a lot of people coming up the road, so
I will kind of look,
Mm-hmm.
do a hand wave, look further down at the people coming, and like flash numbers.
She's gonna throw
do a
hands
bunch
at me from the top of the.
Totally
Hand
close
signal.
enough that I could just
Hand
yell,
sign.
but I'm doing like all the the sign language and hands shit.
yeah. The signs are getting complex.
I tell Magnus, I don't know why she's dancing, but we'll go afterwards.
I never know.
I mean, always a bard.
Right. She looks like one of those traffic controllers on aircraft carriers.
Is she doing
Just
mime?
doing the hand gestures.
Doing mime in the middle of this battle? Like,
Matilda's like, Magnus, Evine is trapped in a box.
Having Soul Train.
Yes.
I'll tell him to go look for the sorcerer that's trapped her in the box and see how long it takes him to figure it out.
She's trapped in a box, and it looks like it's really windy too. Do you see that?
And there's a knight in the box.
Nice.
So eventually she will
Didn't
give a small sigh and be like,
No.
she's got the ones in there covered, but there's more on the way.
Like, by the time you give up, we're already after her, so it's good.
Yep.
Yeah. Magnus follows the rest. The released prisoners continue the massacre in the courtyard. One lady who looks like she's having a rough time she's not carrying any weapons, but you actually notice that she goes up the pole and she's pulling the flag down with reckless abandon. She's using her whole weight to pull that sucker down. She doesn't have a lot of strength, but by gods, she's making that shit happen.
Do I see anyone from either the ships nearby besides Magnus?
Oh yeah. There's a detachment of Crescent on your way towards there. That are basically, they're sort of close to the tower where Jimena just jumped in. They're currently, I will say, assisting Ernesto to the best of their ability. There's a lot of flourishes happening on that side.
As I'm bolting, I will shout at Ernesto, since he's sort of the ranking officer that I can find, and be like, "When you're done playing with your food, let's clear the rest of the compound. We're gonna finish up out front."
He pulls the cigarillo out and he's like, "Well, you know, as Castilian, we spend a lot of time at the table.
I'm not
but
even listening anymore.
I will get finished here shortly." All right, so you want to read this
Yes,
guy?
I want to read in preparation for possibly changing his hubris and activating it.
Okay.
But I kind of want to know what he is first.
Sure. His virtue is the wheel, which is fortunate.
Okay.
Hubris is the sun, proud.
Okay. I believe I had already chosen the one I wanted to do, and it was the Moonless Night, which is confusion.
So you're gonna switch it and activate it.
Yeah. In the meantime, I mean, I'm still staring him down, and I say, I am not a violent person. It is your actions that lead me to draw blood.
Yeah, as he's covered in his bus's blood and viscera. Okay. Give me a empathy roll.
Ready. Resolve. Empathy.
Sure.
Hmm.
Resolve or panache. Okay, so Genia's got her successes.
So for Rethold's actual approach, I'm gonna gather every knife and axe and whatever I can in Genia's wake, so that I'm just bristling with projectiles by the time I get out of the gate area to pick up whatever she doesn't make contact with in her path.
Okay.
So I'm gonna
Perfect.
Don't lose my knives.
Huh?
I want those back.
No, well, I'm not taking them from you. They're, you got yours.
No, well, I left them like in people on the ground.
Oh, well, maybe I'll just throw it ahead of you so you can pick them back up. But yeah, well, yeah. No.
I love
Please,
my personal
Genia,
knife.
please pick one in your mouth as you go as a bear with like a knife sticking out of your mouth.
Nice bear.
I mean, since they have the brass knuckles, it has more for me to hold on to.
Right.
So I'm just gonna do a finesse plus. I was gonna go with sailing, scavenge, like.
Yeah. Totally. That makes sense.
And then
This is raid mode for you. You're like, I've done this multiple times.
Oh yeah, this is reflex. Yeah, Genia, I'll be your lame ass Captain America shield. Just chuck the knives ahead of you so that you can reclaim them later.
I'll be your shield of knives.
Knife shield.
Knife shield. Knife shield and knife bear. You hear down the line, oh,
Guys,
they got knife bears now?
have you heard of Cloak and Dagger? Nah, man, you gotta read Knife Shield and Knife Bear.
Fuck this shit. Assist me. This is the completely wrong culture, but I'm committing seppuku right here, right now.
Yeah.
All right, I got a 9.
Yeah, 9?
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, okay. Moonless Night is confusion, and I think it has something about something, the plot, something. Wait, let me look at it.
I know that one.
Oh, you do? Okay,
Yeah.
here you go then.
Jimena.
Oh,
You
yeah,
have it.
sorry. I got distracted.
No, you're good. You have a very sweaty man in front of you, very muscular, sweaty man with a wicked-looking knife. Still just a shirtless man with a knife. So
Just another
probably not
Tuesday.
as impressive as he would have liked it to be.
Yeah, you can smell his fear. Not even working.
Jimena is going to stand dramatically silhouetted in the doorway and make sure that her sword is nice and glowy. And then she'll say something really witty that Megan cannot think of right now
Sure.
to make up for the fact that he couldn't say anything witty. And then she's just going to grab an ampule off her person and like rip the stopper out and just chuck it at him. Right at the center of his bare chest.
Oh, yeah. His pre-lubricated bare chest. Okay.
You really should just keep that shirt on.
Let's
This is not the right move for him.
Let's do like a finesse weaponry since you're doing the throw. And yeah, Evine, there's a Veston raiding party heading for the door. There's now a bear barreling down the rocky outcropping below you.
You hear that bellowing roar as
Yep.
she's pissed.
You could say she puts the bear in barreling.
That's right. Yeah, she's barreling. Oh, that's perfect. Take that, internet.
Thanks.
I'm glad I
Great.
give you all such cannon fodder.
Yeah, good night.
I got 10.
Ouch. Oh, shit.
Woo-wee!
I rolled 3 10s, so they all explode.
You throw it through his superplexes. Through his superplexes.
Let's
You make a kebab.
what does Jimena think is in that ampule?
Yes.
She thinks, because she arranged everything in a very certain way on her person.
Jimena believes.
So if it is the one she thinks it is, because it should be like an acid to like burn through his skin.
Okay.
She's not, like, mostly it's a distraction because he's much larger than her, but she's probably faster. So it should start eating away at his skin and be really painful. That is what she thinks is going to happen.
Okay.
So
What she believes.
That actually happens.
That's what she believes should happen.
if it's what, because she, like I said, she arranged everything so she knew, so she would know where to grab from.
No, absolutely. There's always a plan, right? And it's
but they
it's
don't
more the
always.
element of chaos.
Yeah, she's gotten better.
Mm-hmm.
But
absolutely.
She's still not
Okay.
fully properly trained, so
Waiting for it
there's
to turn
always
in
a
purple.
chance.
Okay.
It was just hair dye the whole time.
Right.
That stuff could still really mess up your face, though.
That's right. You died.
That's
Caustic, yeah. That's
It's just peroxide.
No,
Ow, I
That'll
had a
mess you
scratch
up.
there. Ow.
All right.
Mustache.
Evine.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm going to. Well, after my dance.
Yeah, it's sort of intricate. You find yourself you're communicating the message, and then it's the bard in you. You go through a whole paragraph.
Yep.
Before you know it, it's a stanza.
Since the action seems pretty much well taken care of, can I post up for the ones who are approaching?
Oh yeah,
to be able to start taking them out before they even get in.
absolutely. In fact, you see some of them coming down from the gun nests that are further below, closer to the front dock. Fortunately for you, you're at the top of this cliff on a wall, so you got all the height advantage on this. At this range, you're like, I can probably shoot boats, that are docked all the way below. So basically everything's in range. You can basically start picking off the end of that tail.
Yeah. That's what I will do.
Good. How many successes was that threshold?
7. So I'm like, ooh.
Oh yeah. You scavenge, and before you know it, you're a walking armory.
Yeah.
Axes and knives in various shapes and sizes.
Look how the Blue Raja wishes he looked.
Yep. Right. There's a boarding axe somewhere in there.
Eight raises for me.
8. Okay. All right. In the courtyard, as you all get prepped up, you hear more yelling, primarily from the prisoners this time, even those ones that haven't joined the fray because they're in no shape or because are starting to join in a just like a chorus. Some of it seems like it's just cathartic, right? Like they're basically just shouting. Some of the pirates are just being hacked. They're not just getting killed, they're getting hacked to pieces. You actually notice that tall crescent lady has taken quite a few of the leftover pirates down, but she's actually trying to temper things a little bit because the prisoners are going into a frenzy, which is not the best. They also clearly are in need of food, water, medical attention for a lot of them, so they're sort of operating on adrenaline right now. That won't last. The flag has come down and has been dragged into the mud. It's covered in dust and all sorts of shit. There's one of the lady that took it down is just stomping on it with both feet. You're not quite sure if she's laughing or crying as it's happening. It very likely is both. Yeah, there's sort of a lot going on. Ricardo is assisting with the rifle line, which has stopped firing at this moment. He's standing with Veronica, and they're sort of peeking over the barricade, looking. You see him sort of direct Veronica to shift some of the barricades so that it's facing the door that you all are going towards at this point in the prisoner's tower. He's starting to call for some of the prisoners who are in no shape to fight to come crawl behind the fuck behind that barricade and get out of the way, because at this point you're going to be a hindrance. So just move, just come back here. And he's sort of gathering all of them. Veronica sort of helping get them in little bunches. There's like a couple jugs of water getting passed around, but they're watching the door, basically getting ready if anything pops in. Jimena, you grab your ampule. You're basically you're a silhouette at this point. It's dark in this tower, and with the door flung wide open, the fog is peering through. Your sword is glowing. You look like a menacing figure.
Yes.
That's here to basically just ruin the fuck out of their day. You grab your ampule and you chuck it at this man, and he starts smoking. And the first thing that hits you is the smell. It smells horrible. And then, like a second after the smell, it's the sound, because there is like a low hissing.
Oh.
And then and you're in an enclosed space with him, and he just yells at the top of his lungs.
Sing, my angels, sing. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. You all hear that, like, from the tower. Like, it looks like somebody is butchering a pig. And his chest is just, like, there's no definition anymore. It is slick and smoking, and there is no relief. He just falls to his knees. There's no words escaping his mouth.
Just like one vowel.
Basically, there is just like pain, and he tries to roll on the ground. And Jimena, you almost wince at that, because like his whole chest and shoulders, like he's all raw. So he rolls on the ground, and in your head, you're like, you're gonna make it. Oh, wow.
Too late.
That. Yeah, there is no escape. He's in fucking agony, and it lasts for a few seconds, and then almost mercifully, like, he passes out, and he's still smoking, and it smells horrible. Yeah, that is what a 10 raises alchemy throw will get you.
Yeah.
Glinting in the candlelight and the glow of your sword is the multiple rings of heavy keys tied to his belt. Now, the main drawback is that you're going to have to get closer to get those, and at this point, he's just like, he's smoking like a set of ribs. And
his ribs probably coming out of his ribs too,
right? And
like...
it is, again, the smell is not easier the closer you get. It's pretty pungent.
Jimena is going to kind of draw the heat back out of her sword, so it just goes back to being like a normal sword. And whatever it's tied to, she's just kind of gonna slash it with her sword and like hook her sword into it, so she doesn't have to get too close.
Yeah, that is the easiest way to get that done. You find yourself looking at
kind of place for your nose
that has sort of a dirty cloth on it, and you're like, maybe I can cover him. Maybe that crosses your mind.
Yeah, where it's like, I knew what it was going to do. I didn't think about like the consequences of that.
This is what I've been doing to people?
Right.
Like,
you're not exactly sure the entire batch is like that, but it's more potent than you thought.
Yeah. like, huh. I outdid myself.
Yep.
Okay.
You.
I feel
you
like
have,
everybody like that she encounters in the rest of this tower, she's just gonna be like, I'm so sorry, like watch your step on the way out. Like
Yeah.
Like your dog shit
I
on the
didn't know I
floor.
was going to do that.
As you grab the keys, you get a moment where you're simultaneously getting a little nauseous and also being very proud of yourself because you clearly know this. It melted part of his belt buckle.
Ooh.
So
Wow.
basically, there's a spot down here where like his belt buckle has sort of fused with his skin there. You're like, I'm not gonna be here to deal with that. It's fine. Like, it's gross. Also, holy shit, this stuff can also melt metal, maybe.
Right? Like, that's disgusting, but good job.
Gross, he deserved it.
There is a chorus of yelling that erupts in the tower when this man starts yelling before he passes out. There's just like a cacophony of screaming and yelling, and some of it is just like jubilant, some of it is just like, please don't leave me here, please don't leave. Right? You just like hear just dozens and dozens of distinct voices like yelling in unison. All right. Zhenya and Evine, as one, you both go at the same time, and this bear comes barreling down. Zhenya, you basically maul the shit out of the top of that column. The first guy that comes up, basically, like, he has like an attachment on his rifle, like he's gonna make an attempt to sort of brace, and that doesn't work. You basically just you grab him in your jaws by the throat and then just fling him off the cliff on the side as you just descend on the other two guys. So like 3 more guys are down, and you're again at your best, covered in blood. Yes. As you find yourself snarling upon the third man who was not prepared for this. I mean, he was getting prepared for a bear, but this is more than
well, it was like he was prepared for a small woman, and then there was a bear, and then it was, oh shit.
Yeah, and now it's right here. You hear some confused shouts from the middle of the column because there's a bear mauling the front of it, and then 3 more guys just die at the end of the column, just stop dead in their tracks. So now it seems both ends are falling apart. So some of the folks that are in the middle at one of the gun stations are basically looking both ways, like, well, fuck.
We either go toward the raging bear or toward the invisible death.
Right. One lady makes the choice that her brethren don't seem to want to make, and basically tosses her rifle aside and takes a leap off the side of the path down the cliff. Unfortunately for her, it's real rocky, so it doesn't look like she makes a great landing coming down below.
Oh well.
Well, choosing to go by your own means is a thing.
Right.
Of valor. I don't speak
to make matters worse, as this all happens, you hear the yelling coming from inside the gate. Rethold comes out, basically loaded for bear. He's just he looks like he made himself a set of armor out of weapons.
Well done.
So he just starts unloading.
It's like Game of Thrones, but not a throne. It's armor.
Yeah, more people are dying because now he has the infinite ammo cheat, and he's going for it.
Nice.
Rethel just is the Iron Throne.
It's Iron Cuirass.
That's a pretty good,
Cuirass.
cool epithet. Wrestle the Iron Throne.
Perfect. So yeah, like you see more. The guy that you were staring in the face, Zhenya, dies when the boarding axe like just gets him right in the head, and he topples backwards into the water. You hear
like little bear grumbles of, "I was gonna kill that one."
To be fair, that's John's interpretation. I would know better. I know that you're the bowling ball. I'm just picking up the spares. Like anything that you aren't getting, that's what's getting nailed.
You hear another round of yelling, and Magnus comes out like the fury of 1,000 suns, covered in blood. It's clear to you, Rethold, as he goes down the path to go next to Zhenya, that in his head he would never do it, but in his head he is like, how awesome would it be if I jumped on the back of this bear right now?
You know, Jimena did it, and
he has a sense of propriety, so he would not do it.
And the bear is much less attractive
this is
to
another
Jimena.
man's bear now. I can't just jump
Right.
Yeah, no, yeah. Like,
but
this is a betrothed bear.
Thou shalt not jump another man's bear.
That's right.
You know.
But Rethold, the look he gives you when he comes down and sees that scene, it just speaks volume. He's like, I could just make a little hop, jump on this bear.
You know,
I mean, Zhenya would happily vault him. She did it for Jimena.
It's true.
I don't have the time.
If he needs a boost.
I don't have the time to articulate to him that, there's legends what I've done with a bear back in town. But
skip Winter.
Oh, okay, yeah. We'll get back to you.
I held it as long as I could.
Yeah, you're good. Okay. I will resolve Marilyn's piece next when she's out of the restroom. So next approaches.
I mean, same.
Same.
Barrel him down.
Jimena is going to begin liberating the prisoners.
Awesome. They just go in every cell and...
Yeah, she's gonna, basically, because she doesn't know what key does what. So she has all these keys.
Mm-hmm.
But she's gonna trying to think of how I want to do this. So how are these prisoners imprisoned within their cells? Like, are they chained to walls? Are they just sort of sitting in cells like we would be in prison?
If you go to the first cell, like at the ground level, it's pretty miserable. The cells are small, they're dirty, most of them don't have windows, and they are, in fact, there's basically like a little like pieces of straw on the ground for them to lie on, and you notice that quite a few of them are also chained either to a wall or to the floor. Some of these cells have the luxury of having a bucket in them. Many of them don't. So it is no good. You got 8? Awesome.
Jimena is going to go up to the first cell and be like, "You guys have been in here. Do any of you know which key is the right key?"
I mean,
you get a very feeble like no.
And then Jimena is gonna, and then if they say no, Jimena is just gonna be like, "Nah, fuck it," and she throws the keys down with the aim that maybe they'll hit the guy that's on the floor, like in the face. She's not looking; she's just tossing it behind her.
Yeah,
and she's just gonna reheat her sword and just start busting the locks off.
There you go.
Of everything. She's like, "I got the keys.
The key was
I don't know
inside me
does what.
all along.
Right.
This isn't helpful." Like, fuck.
It will take just as long. So yeah, you toss the keys. Doesn't sound like it hit the floor. It hit something that was not hard floor. So all right, so you're gonna get to work on that. Why don't we go? I mean, you're trying to break those, right? Like, so you're not finessing it.
No, she's just red hot sword, just kind of trying to like
Okay.
cut
So
through
we'll go with brawn and weaponry.
Okay.
All right, Rethel, Levine, same diff. Okay. 3.
Yeah.
It's fine. You're there's nobody really hounding you, so you can't like fail this task. It's basically how long this is gonna take you to go through.
Mm-hmm.
But that's fine. There's a fair amount of prisoners in here.
I got 6 raises to keep shooting.
Okay.
A sword
Oh
chuck.
wait, what
yo.
am I doing?
Are you
I
forgetting
have
to
another
add
plan,
dice?
but I'll wait till later.
Forgetting to add dice again.
No, I'm forgetting that I have super flame magic powers.
Which is funny because you're using them.
Yeah, but I'm not using them to the extent to which I can.
but she can like flame whip again and like. Whoosh.
I can like, yeah, that's new plan is for later
If you
when
want
Jimena
to
gets frustrated.
nosebleed it and use it, that's fine. As we get everybody's approaches and
Fucking carry
Okay.
it.
Yeah, so new plan. Mulligan for Jimena.
Yep.
She does one, and then is like, "The fuck
Yeah.
am I doing?"
Yeah, kinda. And so she sheathes her sword and like and flicks her, I forget what her thing that she has, her striker, and she just creates like a fire axe
Yeah.
because I can create things from flame that act as the thing they are.
Yep.
So now she can just chop and hack at
Yes.
various things.
Axes work for Ruffled. They'll work
Yeah.
for you.
Much easier.
Yes. I can put much more force into it.
Yep.
If it is a flame axe.
Yep. You'll get some extra raises on that if you want to re-roll
Okay.
your brawn and weaponry. The fact that it's an axe made out of flame is going to give you some extra. Oh, was that a 10? I see.
Damn. I don't know. The highest roll so far was an 11 tonight from Evine.
Yep.
I
Oh,
also
Red Bull
have-
was an
No, it
11.
was from,
Oh.
yeah.
It was Ruffled. Oh, okay.
That was to be
I just
inspiring.
assume it's always Aveen because she
same.
always has like fucking 15s and shit. Over here, like 8 guys.
I mentioned the KitchenAid magic, so it went away.
Yeah, well, that's
You've angered the kitchen gods.
you can't. It's like brownies. You can't acknowledge them. They'll get offended. They'll leave.
I got 4 this time.
Okay. And you'll get some free successes on this because you're literally using an axe made out of fire.
Nice.
Ooh, cold. I took my feet out of my slippers.
That's a dangerous game.
Yeah, it is. Oh,
Ow, ow!
All right. Well, carnage continues.
Mhm.
Rethold is a one-man turret at this point. The amount of weapons he's secured has allowed him to not have to move before he can continue to throw things. He basically focuses his fire a little bit further down the line.
Oh yeah, of course. The your two knives have the farthest range and get all the attention to make sure that they're like the farthest 2 people away, so that you can get them at the end. And then I'm just I'm curating. I'm trimming this landing strip for you.
Yeah, he's a gardener at this point. He's pruning the column of soldiers. You can almost see, Zhenya, the path that Rethold has built for you to just barrel through. So yeah, more of the soldiers come down. At least a couple more try to take the risky off the trail route to various degrees of success, meaning one of them looks like they might have survived, but one of their legs is in very bad shape. So who knows how long they're going to survive down there. Zhenya, you're basically continuing your carnage. 4 more soldiers basically get ripped to shreds. You notice a familiar sound. You're not exactly sure why. And then you see further down the line 2 soldiers collapse who clearly have your knives in them. So that's practical. You're like, oh yeah, like I wouldn't know them anywhere.
Oh yeah.
They were made from my hands.
True
But
story.
yeah, Rethold has sort of built you like a nice little path, so you don't have to twist or turn. Like you can just you can keep moving and raise and lower your paws and clamp your jaws, and
It rhymed. Aw.
you will continue to find soldiers to take out. That line is really thinning, by the way. There's really not a lot left.
Have I taken any more shots?
As a matter of fact, we'll see if you have. Shots have come out. We'll see if you've been hit.
Yeah.
One of them went wild. Probably because of panic. One of them did hit you.
Okay.
The third one hit Magnus.
Oh, my buddy.
But
Each will be fine.
yeah. It fuels him. It angers him. He seems to get like slightly taller. All right. Marilena, you're inside and you basically are messing. You're messing with this guy's fate. He looks at you and you had the whispered, like, who are you? And you first responded with nothing, and it was like, yeah, I'm not violent, but
This is your fate.
you're bad people, so I made your boss explode. Which is basically how it came to him. And then as you pluck the strands, you basically feel he basically loses all footing with reality. Like, he doesn't know anymore what he should be doing. His boss is dead. He's covered in blood. The prisoners are going buck wild all over the camp.
Prisoners gone wild.
You see the tall crescent lady approaching, like the two of you, and she even has to like physically stop a couple. Like the prisoners, like they ran out of weapons to pick up. They're now grabbing random things off the ground. She prevented a couple from causing property damage because, you know, they're now in that mood, and there's a potential outlet, and there's a lot of hatred for this place and the people in it. So like the flagpole took a beating, and like some barrels got broken open, and she's sort of like, no, just come on, there's better avenues for you to channel this. And she sort of approaches, and this guy is just, he's lost. He still has his weapon, and it now hangs loose, like at his side. And she basically approaches him and grabs him very roughly by the shoulder, which causes him to drop his weapon. And he sort of looks, and you see the weariness now. Like half of his face is just covered in gross blood. And he's just like, what happened? Like, you know, minutes ago, everything was normal, and now like he just cannot comprehend. She grabs him and basically, like in broken Olthian, says, you come, we will take you. And he sort of doesn't protest. And with a meager voice, like looking at the prisoners, he's like, what, you would spare me? And she says, I did not say that.
I just watched it happen. Fate unfolds as it will. I just pushed it along.
Yep. She sort of leads him away, but he's just like, he's despondent at this point. That man is broken. Meanwhile, you can hear, Marilena, that the chaos up the hill continues, but is dying in more ways than one. It's getting less and less loud as you hear some engagement and some rifle shots, but there's less and less screams. There's a lot of screams in the tower. You hear some banging and some metal on metal happening. Jimena, you're... I just realized you made a literal fire axe. So your fire axe actually worked wonders on these locks, and you managed to make short work of a lot of them. The prisoners in this tower are in worse shape than the ones outside. And it's worse as you get further up the tower. Eventually, there's no more like prison cell door, like it's fully enclosed dark cells with like heavy wooden and metal doors.
Very solitary.
Yeah, basically, prisoners are chained to the wall, like kept in horrible conditions. Many of them look like they have been interrogated forcibly. And I mean, you've seen the registry, so you know a lot of them were political prisoners, or people who had dissent, expressed dissent. So they're in worse shape, and it gets worse the further up you go. You continue to work. You've liberated about 12, 13 people now, and it keeps going. You have about twice that many cells to go. But yeah, people basically look like they want to ask you questions, and the prisoners from down below like sort of do, like, just what is happening? Like, who are you? But the more the folks you liberate that are further up don't look like they have much of the strength to ask you. Like, they crawl outside. Some of them don't even move when you first open the door. Like, you sort of have to urge them to come to you before there's anything happening. The outside crew, Evine, you continue to fire arrows, and now the gap between the two group narrows down up to where it is left up to 3 pirates. There's only 3 of them left. Everybody else either took their chances jumping off the cliff or has died. The 3 of them basically just dropped their weapon. The men and women behind them are riddled with arrow. There's a polar bear covered in blood in front of them. And 2 Vestan warriors. Looks like Retold finally ran out of ammo. Is ready to come down, but they basically drop their weapons and raise their hands. Like, there's nowhere for them to go. They don't even seem like they're willing to risk backing off the trail. There's literally like arrows planting in the ground, like behind where they are. So they just stay there. It's 2 men and 1 woman. The woman basically says, I give up. There's nothing we can do.
Damn right.
How close would at this point? I was a little ways behind.
Yeah,
Virginia, so I'm guessing she's like.
Yeah, she's in front of them. You're a little ways away, but you're up the cliff, so you can hear them speak, and you can breach that distance. A little brisk walk. You'll be with them. Magnus is right by the bear.
If they give up, Zhenya sheds her bear skin. She's missing an ear and got a hole somewhere else, and picks up her knives and goes, "Then you'll go quickly."
One of the men says, just like that?
I could tear you apart and let you suffer, but you've seen your errors.
The other guy is already walking down. Like, he's like, I'm not gonna risk asking questions. He's basically like, fuck these guys, I'm out. Like, he just turns tail and leaves. It looks like there's a boat below. Nobody seems to be on it, but he's not gonna ask twice.
Oh, he's not going to get very far.
The lady is much more guarded. She takes a step backward, but she doesn't break eye contact because she's not quite sure it's not a trap.
Oh, I'm sorry. When I said you can go quickly, I mean like
Yeah,
I
no.
won't let you suffer. I'll kill you quickly. I wasn't giving them a chance to run away.
Oh, I'm aware of this.
Oh, okay.
They're
I was
you
like, is
know.
this my bad Thean?
No. It's not you. It's this guy thinking maybe he got a shot at leaving.
Zhenya will look to Magnus and say, do you want the one on the run or the two here?
Well, before he has a chance to answer, I've leaned down and grabbed another knife and just flipped it and shook it.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And I'm like, when you're done, I'm going for the craft, and I just keep going past them down to check the boat.
Okay. Zhenya does another, your blood will fuel Matushka. Feel honored.
The lady basically says, "Make it quick."
Nods and does.
The man that's with her looks very wary, but he sort of nods towards Magnus. Magnus puts the axe on his shoulder,
On his eye. Wow.
like on the shoulder of the man, and he sort of makes a show of glancing back at the fort and then back at the guy, and then he basically just says, he starts to push on the axe and says, "Kneel." The guy basically doesn't have any strength left in him to fight it, so he kneels down, and Magnus basically swing the axe overhead and takes his head. The fleeing man gets hit with the knife with such force that not only does it come out the other side, it buries all the way to the hilt, but the impact basically knocks him off the track and he tumbles down, hitting the cliff several times before he hits the water.
Happens.
Right.
I kind of shout back. Actually, so it doesn't look like there's anyone on the little. What type of boat is it?
It looks like a swoop.
And so there's probably no one on it, right?
So
Nope.
for those landlocked people, a
Oh.
swoop?
A swoop is like a pink or sorry.
Really? So helpful.
How can I describe that?
I mean, like how many sales?
I mean, I guess we could just Google
I
it.
don't
It's
ask me about
visible.
number of sales. Like
Well, then why'd you say it then? If you can't talk about it.
Yeah, no, it's medium size about boat. It looks like it's loaded for cargo. It's not loaded for warfare. Looks like it came with a shipment of something, but
Oh, okay, I see.
it probably was one of theirs, because it has the flag. But there's no crew manning that ship right now.
So as I sort of take that in, I'm just going to shout back, I'm going to strike the colors and rate it. We can probably use it.
Yep.
Wait, do we have a ship now? Awesome.
I mean, it's
Might.
a small one.
It
Just
is,
enough for us.
It is a small craft. Enough for a crew of, say...
It's not a schooner, it's a sailboat.
Yeah.
Correct.
Retold, to your eye, this probably came from Outback. It probably also unloaded all the people that were in the courtyard. So that was probably the boat's purpose.
January yells to Rethold that I'm going back to help the prisoners escape.
Yeah, you get the sounds dope signal. You know, I was mostly like, if Magnus really wants to come down and take a sniff, he's welcome. But I'm double checking it and encouraging everyone else to help with what's going on upstairs.
Are we out of combat now?
Yep.
Okay. I probably would like to. I mean, once I put away my weapons, actually try to help with the calming the prisoners.
The lady actually doesn't say so, but very clearly welcomes the help.
I mean, I have a ton of empathy and convince.
Okay.
So
Feel free to make me a roll.
all right. Well, I think that mostly I'm going to try to impress upon these people that, they are no longer in danger. There's nobody here left that will harm them. They can finally relax, and we will take care of them. They're wounded, and they're,
Yep.
figure out where
When
their
Xenia
family
shows up, I
Oh,
activate my virtue, which is friendly.
All right. You can assist in that.
I'm going for a panache plus empathy, if that is suitable.
Go right
Fucking
ahead.
covered in blood and torn to shreds, and hello, we are here to help. Please come to this boat.
To be fair, many of them are covered in blood, soot, and many other things right now.
Yeah.
Jimena is going to remember a thing that happened before, and she's just, as she's going through this tower, since I imagine the whole place is dark,
Yep.
she's just going to kind of shout into the darkness, be like, "Hey, Evine, can you hear me? Is that a thing you can still do?" Like,
Evine does this thing standing on the parapet, like,
Oh.
Yep.
damn.
You can, in fact, hear Jimena.
I got 7.
She's talking way too loud to use that for using that power.
she's shouting. She's
Like-
not whispering.
Like JC
She's
on
like,
every call. Just
she's like our relatives who
Right.
call us here on the landline, which I get periodically when I'm at work, and who don't seem to understand that your voice doesn't actually have to carry across 2 continents. But yeah, like she's just shouting, so you're basically hearing her shout into your head.
Yep.
like, "Hey, Evine, could you let people know if the people in the tower need help? 'Cause
Yeah, sure.
okay, thanks."
You hear like the microphone screech.
Yeah, like the feedback.
You manage with Genius' appearance, you manage to calm the prisoners down a fair amount. Many of them like just like sit at this point, like they're spent.
I mean, if there are any like supplies that we could offer them in the moment, like
hell
water, food.
Yep, there are.
Like
There are.
we want
I
to.
mean, Jenny has a pack of a million bullshit.
and there's
so
a whole lot of dead pirates that aren't going to be eating their rations.
Oh,
That is
absolutely. And
true.
their mess hall is just off the side there. Like you got what you need. Like you can actually get. These fuckers were eating pretty well, so you can raid their stocks and sort of help. Many of the prisoners have stopped talking at this point. There's many of them just silently weeping. Yeah. The lady sort of helps with you there, and she's there's sort of an understanding between her and the prisoners, and she sort of points at a scar on her neck, at a few of them.
Mm.
And she says in broken Thean, "The anger doesn't leave, but you can use it for better things." Jimena, after you shout into the darkness and get a response from Dean, you're in front of a door and you hear a really feeble voice on the other side of it that says, Jimena?
What? Mhm. Oh,
And
right. There was somebody in the list that.
Yeah, it's my cousin.
Oh.
there's a pause, and then there's a, Jimena, is that you? I think I'm going mad.
And Jimena like cuts the door open and throws it wide. Like, it's me, Rodrigo.
Yes. Yes.
We've gone full telenovela.
Hell yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
It is I.
It could only be better if he was your lover, like not a
Right.
family member.
Yep. It moves from Jimena to Rodrigo to Jimena back as it
Yeah.
slowly zooms.
With like really heavy piano.
Yep. Dramatic
Sí,
expression.
Rodrigo. Soy Jimena.
You see in the cell the shade of your cousin. His hair is long and ratty, and like he's got a bushy beard, like not in the good lumberjack mode, like the I have not managed to tend to myself in quite some time.
I've not had
It's
oil
sure-
nor moisturizer. Oh.
Yeah, that's right. My beard oil, god damn it. His shirt probably was white at some point in time. It no longer is. It is a shade of gray tan. Yeah, he looks in rough shape, and you immediately see his fingers don't seem to go in the right directions.
Oh.
He first shields his hands from like even the meager light that you're bringing in, as if you just douse them with a flashlight, and then basically like looks again and says, either this is the best day of my life or I've gone mad, and I don't care which.
And Jimena is like, it's definitely one. Might be both. But it's definitely one. And she breaks whatever bonds he has.
Yeah, his hands were sort of bound together and was like with a chain to the floor. And he basically says, they did this because they thought it would prevent me from using the gift. I told them it would do nothing. That didn't stop them.
Jimena is like trying really hard to keep it together right now because she's getting really angry. But she just kind of laughs because that's the only thing that she can, like, when you get like, I'm just gonna try and like, she's like, they're so dumb. That's not how it works at all.
He sort of joins you like with a like dry laugh, and he's like, I know they don't know anything, but it's okay.
Yeah.
And he wraps an arm around Jimena, and Jimena, he doesn't smell the best.
You take one of your other vials.
Right.
But it's okay. We're together now, and we'll show them.
Family.
At this point, I think Jimena is probably like, well, I found the person I was looking for. So,
There's, in
Deuces.
fact,
I'm out.
there's in fact quite a few people in the cells up ahead, like banging on the door, like, "Did you go? Where? No, please don't leave me here."
Oh, jeez. I mean, if I can make my rounds and manage to get up there, I'll do.
I'm
Sure,
sure that
sure.
would
Yeah,
shake out.
same.
I'm sure that would shake Jimena and her cousin out a little bit as well. And
Yeah,
Yeah.
Magnus
But I
actually
mean, your
stepped.
locks need to be just ripped off like paper.
Magnus steps into the tower as well. After Rethold indicated he was going to go check the ship. Magnus looks uncharacteristically somber when he's inside the tower. He's not saying much, and he's basically just helping folks get out, and he's breaking doors with abandon. Ricardo actually comes out as well to sort of help set up like a little water station right outside, and they're handing out water for people coming out. He actually recognizes a couple of the prisoners. They've served together for a few of them. One of them looks like he's an affiliate of the Crows. Makes Ricardo sort of choke up a bit as he sees in what state they're in. And then as you sort of gather, so Marilena's going, Genia, at the very top of the tower, Magnus assists in breaking down the last door, and in a very dingy cell, mustering all the poise he can while sitting on the floor, is Captain Landreville huddled under a blanket. He's chained to the wall by his neck, but he's maintaining a very military bearing, even though he looks very pale and sweaty. He's hiding under something that looks like it used to be a cloak, maybe, but is now like a blanket, and he's slightly shivering. And as he sees you in the door, the only thing that he can say is, well, I should be surprised, but somehow I am not.
You're welcome.
He sort of chuckles slightly and just immediately starts coughing.
Well, let's
Um,
help the man out and get him something to eat and out of these chains.
yeah, Magnus immediately goes to work on the heavy color. He rips it out of the floor and then start to work at like basically remove it from around his neck with a little bit more gentleness. And as Magnus is working, Landreville basically says, "There's something I must know. How fares San Felipe?"
So for that,
Is Perez still alive?
That much is true. The Prophet's sword has quite a hold on some of the people, but we are working on that.
real quick, down at the ship. So Rethold find anything ship, or is it just this is obviously one of their transport ships?
There's some interesting stuff. So this is obviously a transport ship for people, but not only that, there's some merchandise on there that you're probably going to be able to use. There's weapons. There's foodstuffs, which will aid in your continued travel, plus resupplying this fort if you're planning to keep it. You're surprised to find a decent quantity of guilders on board. Payment for something.
Oh.
Surprised.
We
Wait,
should have kept one alive, guys. Shit.
Wait, they're set for what?
It's like a payment of sort for something.
Check the
It's
captain's log.
hidden.
Is there a captain's log of any sort?
Absolutely.
I'm sure there's records. It's fine not letting any of them survive.
You see that the payment was received for the continual holding of certain prisoners in here, and the continued interrogation of some of the peoples on here. Many of the names on the list are people you would recognize. You also find a list of questions they're trying to find, including, again, questions asking about a prominent Montaigne general who vanished at the outset of the war.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they were detaining Ricardo for, too, when he was in prison. There seems to be some pressing questions around that, but you see some notes saying that while they are to use force and discretional methods to try to make Landreville speak, they are not to kill him under any circumstances, as he might still prove useful.
So, first I grab, a boarding axe or whatever, and I take one lap of the ship, make sure it's empty. Then I strike the colors. After I'm done with the first lap, I roll 10 on a wits plus sail check to bind my wound.
Yeah.
So it looks gnarly, but I just pop that sucker out and it's good. And then when I strike the colors and find all this, I find a small chest, empty it, throw their flag in there, throw the log on top, and then a sack of guilders, more for dramatic effect than anything, right on top. Hold the flag on top of them, close the chest, and then I come back out on deck, and I basically leave a rune at the gangplank, to denote that only board if you're ready to clean the ship, make it seaworthy again, because right now it's not worth using in its current state. And then I hike back up to the fort to find out what's happened so far.
Yep. This sort of happened while people were busy sort of going up. There's a fair amount of people up in that tower. So Rethel, you will arrive to the top as people are sort of getting a lot of the cell. But yeah, he's, even in his weakened state, his first questions are basically like, how's the city? Is Carlos still alive? Did he manage to survive? Have they killed him? And then his next question is, who helms the guard?
So I don't think
It's
I'm there.
Rand.
I don't think I'm there for that because I would still be in the courtyard being like, I claim the timbers of that ship as spoils, but anything inside the bilge is up for grabs, and feel free to gut it. I don't want. We're gonna put some of these people to work learning a new skill, and that's gonna be refitting a ship.
Yep. You get a lot of collaboration down the courtyard. You found that most of the crescents have actually stayed there to help, like basically calm and talk with those prisoners. So yeah, you get the same crescent gentleman who was translating to the rifle line earlier is now translating what you're saying to the rest of the group, and you get people who start to go to work.
What do the rest of these guys tell our guard captain?
About the guard captain, you mean?
Yeah, he's asking who leads the guard.
I forgot which Jose it is.
It's our Jose. It's Jose and Josefina, isn't it?
It's Jose Prime.
Jose, what is his actual name as given to the governor, though? But I guess, at least, for now, I'll probably say one of ours.
He's Jose Mendez.
Yeah, that's his name now.
Yeah.
His name is
He has forsaken.
He was able to maintain Luis as part of his full name.
Yep.
Because we don't want him to forget where he came from.
That's right. He sort of nods, and you hear Magnus cursing in Veston as he's trying to get this fucking collar off without using too much force. You see Landreville sort of nod, and there's a look of relief on his feature that passes, and he says, "Good. That is a relief to hear that the sword has not yet taken full control of our office. I feared so much. I thought to escape, but then, well," he sort of pauses and says, "It's a relief that one of your own holds office, because while I'm eager to return to Perez's side and continue to work with him, I'm not exactly sure I can hold the same office I used to." And he pulls the blanket off and sort of reveals his chopped right hand. Just
somebody needs some automail.
Bandaged and in rough state, which probably explains why he's so pale and shivering, because they patched him up but didn't necessarily do the best job of it. He sort of gives a look and says, "I intend to get back into shape. It will take me time."
I imagine at this point, Jimena has probably handed off Rodrigo to people who actually know how to take care of him.
Yep.
She doesn't.
I think he's probably down on the bottom doing first aid and shit.
Yeah, there's a station right at the door of the tower. Ricardo, Veronica, and Genia are there, sort of patching people up, giving water, giving food,
giving them stuff in jars.
So
I was random herbs that Genia needs to make poultices are suddenly growing around her feet, and she's like, "Oh, how helpful! Thank you."
Right. I didn't know it was here. It does now.
But if Jimena can hear Magnus struggling with the neck shackle.
Oh yeah.
She just goes in there and she's like, "Let me do it."
He gladly steps aside with
And
a couple curses.
Yeah, she flicks her thing, and from her pointer finger on her right hand, a very thin, bright line of
Fucking arc welding.
fire comes out, and she
That's
just walks over
cool.
and she's like, "Stay very still," and just.
Or your neck will look like your arm.
Yeah, right.
And then she pops it off of him. And she's like, "There you go. You are free now."
He sort of rubs at his neck a little bit and slowly, carefully gets to his feet. He sort of has one, like his right arm like huddled to his chest, and again he's sort of shielding his eyes, like he's hasn't seen light in quite a few days.
I believe we will have to bring you downstairs, or certain people will probably be upset that we let you sit there with your hand like that for so long, or your lack of hand.
He sort of nods and grabs the cloak / blanket and sort of wraps it around his shoulder. This is just like a ratty piece of cloth, but like the moment he puts it on, he seems to walk with a bit more dignity, and sort of like hobbles his way. Magnus is sort of stepping close to him, doesn't touch him, but he's there just in case he collapses, but he just basically lets him, walk his own way down. Everybody at this point is out of the tower. So you make your way downstairs. Genia, you see this train come out of the tower with Landreville in bad shape, missing a hand.
Brethel drops a few curses as well.
And he sort of takes a seat close to where your table is, and gets given water by Veronica, and sort of squints his eyes a lot as he's out. It's foggy out, but it just seems ungodly bright. After he's taken a couple gulps of water, Rodrigo is seated like right next to him, and they sort of exchange like a couple nods. And Landreville says, "What is your plan?"
Oh, I have a plan written down here somewhere.
Well,
I'm not the one who has plans.
well,
I'm the one who takes care of it.
yeah. If there's slightly less fussing, I sort of grab him by the shoulder to like steady. I'm like, your city is in good hands. For now, others like you will stay and get strong. Perhaps build this place into something worth having around as a resource. But some of us who are already in motion will return swiftly, and when others are able to return, well, they can. And I sort of look over to the Crescent lead. I'm like, I imagine this is amenable to your plans as well.
It is. We will help them. Many of us know what it is like.
When whomever is ready to leave,
Goodness gracious, where is it?
tow that sloop there back to San Felipe, and let me know when it's arrived, as we have work to do on it.
I will. I think
Jen sees Rodrigo's fingers and frowns. she stops to Ricardo and checks on his wound to see how bad it is.
His is pretty okay. He did a fairly good job patching himself up. This is
Satisfactory.
not the first, likely not the last time that this happens. Force of habit.
Oh, here's the plan updated. Okay.
Jenny's gonna go back to
You've done most of those things already.
what? I just said his name like a second ago. There's too many Spanish
Rodrigo.
R people hanging out. Rodrigo.
Rodrigo the cousin.
Yeah, so she's gonna go back to Rodrigo and hold her hands out to his or for his. And I'm gonna spend that nice fancy new I heal other people sorcery. And I'll take a dramatic wound and heal his hands.
Yep. Genia, you tap into that and touch Rodrigo's hands. And then you sort of brace yourself, and then you feel the pain shoot right up your spine as all 10 of your fingers break at once. Just right off in random directions.
Grits her teeth and takes it.
Yep. You have to grit your teeth, but the
She's
pain is
an empathic healer now. Huh?
the pain is considerable, especially since it comes at you all in one go.
But I can also heal myself at least a little bit right now. So it's
That's right.
Either
That's
grow
right.
back an ear or straighten my fingers. So I'll pick one tonight.
Yep. Rodrigo looks at his hands like in disbelief and sort of like almost gingerly tries to move his fingers around. And when he realizes that he can, with no pain, just like moves them a whole lot.
In Castilian, Genia says, "You are the cousin of my family, which makes you my family too."
Oh.
And then it's just sort of like, this is my life right now.
He looks at you and then looks at your hands, and there's like a clear moment of understanding, like, I know what that feels like, and there's just nothing he manages to say.
Jimena comes up behind him and like kind of whispers in his ear. It's like, "You think that's weird? She can turn into a bear. I've seen it."
He sort of looked back to him, and like that shoots him out of that moment for a second. And he's like, "You're kidding."
And then Genia grits her teeth and flexes her broken fucking fingers into a fist, and then they straighten back out again, and she's just like,
It makes a pretty horrific noise.
Wow. Okay, I
and
found
then
the
shakes it
plan.
out.
So I bandage someone up nearby, and after the bear comment and the snapping of fingers, I lean over to Rodrigo and I'm like, "I'm sorry you didn't have a choice whether or not you're part of the family."
You don't choose your family. That's not how that works.
Well, up until about 15 minutes ago, my family was dead.
You have very many siblings now and cousins.
I laugh in someone's face, loudly, awkwardly. It is
Okay,
uncharacteristic for the mood.
Right.
So the plan updated is last time it was updated. I think we did most of these things already. So there was putting Jose in guard captain position, done. Talk to Mizabi, see where he stands, also done. Find where Lonterville is so we can break him out, which we have just done. Smear campaign on Juarez, which I think is ongoing, but he started that already.
There's
It's a
quite a
daily.
few bawdy songs and things getting sung around the dock area bars right now that paint him in an unfavorable light.
So I mean, outside, like, I mean, I have my personal quest to do, but after that, it says once we have the people's trust, we take out Juarez, Veratelli, and the Mondavis. So basically, that's where we're at.
Are you mentioning going to free your husband in this at all?
I don't know if I feel like it's appropriate to mention it, but I do say that while I'm trying to explain like the things that we've accomplished so far, I would say I do have one more task to do before we can return to San Felipe to take the city back for its people.
Sounds ominous.
Yes, it is a personal mission.
I shout over my shoulder, family business.
Yeah.
Yes.
He pauses for a bit and says, "You're Vodace, correct?"
Yeah.
He knows too much. We have to kill him.
Are you perchance looking for a man?
Sorry.
Sorry, I'm married.
I'm already married. Anyway,
Crash and burn.
I'm not looking for him now because I know where he is.
Short answer, no.
Medium height, black hair, Leandro.
Isn't his name Giordano?
Well, Leandro's his first name.
Oh, okay. I don't know what my husband's name is. Oh my god.
Shame on you.
Shame. She says,
does he live in Canada?
Her name is Alberta. She lives in Vancouver.
He's out there being a model, I hear.
Leandro is my husband, yes.
He was here.
In this prison.
Oh, yes.
Also, why are you so noisy and I can't find you? Oh my god. Okay.
He was here for a few days while the ship he was on came to resupply.
Oh.
I only managed to exchange a few words with the man. I never managed to divine the reason why he was here. We had the misfortune of sharing an interrogation room.
Wait, this suggests that the Mondavis are linked to this pirate crew.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this pirate crew is linked to the Prophet's sword. It's all linked.
Yeah, but this gives us even better cause to crush your opposing family, because how can they maintain standing with the Vatican city? Blatant thing. Man, if we can get further evidence on top of this account, this testimony, that's fantastically damning evidence.
I mean, we could probably get Veronica to collect some info and get that going. Add to the smear campaign, because I'm sure there's documents and such. But anyway,
if you're planning to free him and you know where they're headed, they can't be more than half a day sailing from here now.
It is good to know. I managed to get word of his condition, and it is not good.
He sort of lifts his chin a little bit and says, "What do you mean?"
Friends, I suppose. You mean how I found the information?
About estate.
Yes. A combination of contacts and other abilities.
Well, I mean, he is in rough shape, that's for sure. He's definitely been through a lot, but once a soldier, always a soldier, yes?
My husband is not a soldier. He's a trader. He's a merchant of textiles, in fact.
Oh,
Could have fooled me.
oh. That's in character.
I do not claim to know what your husband's occupation is, madame, but there was steel in those eyes.
I did not say that there wasn't, only that it does take a toll. But I have faith in my husband as he apparently has faith in me. And I will be reunited with him, and nothing will stand in the way of that.
I can see that now.
And with
Then it's
that,
off on the side with like popcorn. Just
and with that accomplished, I can bring my full attention to the matters back in San Felipe, which I consider to be my home now.
I will tell you this. There's been clearly many attempts at breaking your husband. He is in bad physical shape. But he's holding.
It's good to know.
He refused to give me his last name, which is admirable. For all he knew, I could have been a spy trying to get information out of him. He did tell me he refused to give in because there was something he was trying to protect. When he ascertained that I may be a friend, and I asked him if there was anything I could do for him, he asked me to kill him should I sense he was breaking.
I am not surprised by that. The secret that he keeps is one that I know he would go to his grave to defend.
Well, one does not need a commission to be a soldier, madame.
Understood.
He actually nods to Marilena and says, "You should make haste. Now that I'm out of the cell, I will find a proper bed, sleep for a day, and then get back to work."
So yeah, with an 8 similar check, with 8 similar raises to help quickly add in on some of the triage for the quick stuff. I pat the guard captain on the knee and I'm like, "You can learn their last names when you regain your post, because we're going to regentrify an area of the city. Isn't that right, Jenya?"
What is gentrify?
Ask Carlos, he'll tell you. Okay.
Tasha?
Veronica leans towards Lana Leville and says, "They're gonna build a house," and then
I'm actually headed towards Veronica. I'm like, what is this? What like, look at you. First combat and you're a mess. What? Come on now. What did you take? What did you take? What have you stolen?
She's like, nothing.
Over her shoulder, Zhenya says, "We're not that type of people."
I mean, obviously not. Okay, we try again. Look, there's
From
a whole.
across the courtyard near a group of soldiers, like you hear a very exaggerated and you see Magnus going like this.
I'm like,
Like, yeah, Jimena's like, well, maybe you're not.
yes,
But
because you're not trying hard enough. Okay, so in this cave there is some supplies. Let's start there. And
Petrushka says to live modesty. Do not turn my sister from our teachings. Bandaging too hard now.
Magnus looks like he's trying to lead some of the newly freed people into a cheer to sort of channel like everything that they're going through right now, and he's
I have a suggestion. Actually, I was thinking about this earlier, but a bunch of other things happened. But like, could we like collect like all of the chains and other things that kept people imprisoned, and just like put them in a big old pile or something, and like just melt it or like burn it or something?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
totally.
I mean,
That's getting
I feel like
repurposed.
that's therapeutic.
We got two pyromancers on hand, and I think one of them's going to hang out for a bit. So maybe he can help start the smithy.
Right. And yeah, as he hears this like argument over the raiding spoils, Magnus is like, we don't all need to steal individual items when we just stole a whole fort. And he just like bellows and turns towards like the freed prisoners and just basically just encourage them to join in. Some of them need a bit more encouragement.
Sort of directing Veronica into the cavern, trying to deflect from Zhenya. I wave my hand at the captain. I'm like, under articles of salvage, certain parties lay claim to this property. Something. He'll write it, and I point at the Ifriti or the Crescent captain, who technically has a letter of writ from the captain of our ship.
Yep.
Who is also a subcontractor of ourselves, who work for our
Like wage
mistress.
made level of paperwork for me there.
So yeah, like, and it will all be notarized by Mendez y Mendez.
Virginia mumbles under her breath, if you keep trying to spoil my sister, I'm going to make you marry her.
I don't hear that, so I'm good. All right.
Exactly.
And yeah, there is much work being done to reorganize. Rodrigo eats some food now that he has regained use of his hands.
You flip people off again.
Right. And yeah, there is a lot more activity. It is noticeably calmer despite Magnus's best efforts. People are just not in that party mood, I guess. But
He tried.
yeah, we will talk about the fort a bit more next session. If there's any plans you have for it, we'll set that in motion. Otherwise, we will take back to the seas and pursue another ship. So
Yay.
Down these like goals one by one.
that's right.
Still awake, Rabbit?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, then. That sounds like a good place for us before we do some of the admin of seeing if we leveled.
Yep.
Say goodnight, Internet.
Good night,
Good night,
Internet.
Internet.